In the crowded streets of Amsterdam during the 1970s, one man's name whispered through the corners of cafes and back alleys. Hennie Vrij. He wasn't loud, he wasn't flamboyant like some others, but his presence was powerful. He was known as the man you didn't cross twice. Vrij grew up during a time when the Netherlands was changing fast. Money, drugs, and nightlife were starting to blend. While others sought regular work, he found himself drawn to the underworld, where power came not from school degrees, but from fear and respect. Like many in that era, Vrij began small, running errands for street dealers, guarding clubs, and handling cash from illegal gambling. These early years trained him to understand how loyalty worked in crime. Betray once, and you disappear. It didn't take long for Vrij's reliability to attract attention. He started associating with the men who would later dominate Dutch organized crime: Bruinsma, Holleeder, and Cor van Hout. Each of them saw potential in the quiet, disciplined man who kept his word. By the early 1980s, Vrij had become one of Bruinsma's trusted associates. Bruinsma's empire was expanding, importing tons of hashish from Morocco and the Middle East. Vrij was there, making sure shipments were safe and debts were collected. His loyalty made him indispensable. Vrij wasn't just respected, he was feared for his silence. In an era where betrayal could mean death, Vrij never spoke more than he needed to. Those who worked with him said he was the kind of man who could keep a secret even if it burned him inside. The 1980s saw Amsterdam becoming a hub for drugs, money laundering, and violence. Vrij watched as small-time smugglers turned into millionaires overnight. He learned how to survive in chaos by keeping his circle small and his moves unpredictable. Vrij's name began to appear in the same sentences as Holleeder and Van Hout, the infamous kidnappers of Freddie Heineken. Though Vrij wasn't one of the kidnappers, he moved in their world, where loyalty and revenge danced together. After Bruinsma's death in 1991, the underworld fractured. Vrij found himself caught between Holleeder's group and others fighting for control. Yet somehow he managed to stay alive, a feat that in those bloody years meant he was either lucky or clever. Vrij's relationship with Holleeder was complicated. They shared respect, business, and sometimes enemies. But both were ambitious men, and ambition in the underworld often turns friendship into quiet hostility. While others enjoyed fame and fast money, Vrij preferred to stay in the background. He invested in legal fronts, bars, clubs, small businesses, where dirty money could appear clean. His calm, professional attitude made him different from the typical street gangster. Vrij had one major rule: stay off the headlines. Unlike Holleeder, who became a public name, Vrij remained a shadow. Even police records often described him as low profile but extremely influential. Vrij was part of an exclusive circle: men like John Miramet, Sam Klepper, and Willem Enstra. They operated across Europe, smuggling drugs, exchanging favors, and laundering millions through Dutch banks and real estate. Vrij also had deep ties to Amsterdam's nightlife: the clubs, the bouncers, the drugs that flowed through every weekend. He knew that the best way to control the city wasn't through guns, but through entertainment, fear, and money. As the years passed, Vrij began financing others. He would back a deal, loan money, and expect quiet repayment with interest. If people delayed, he didn't shout. He simply sent a reminder, one that people didn't forget. When Bruinsma was shot outside the Hilton Hotel in 1991, it changed everything. Vrij lost a friend, a boss, and a shield. The city turned into chaos as everyone tried to fill the vacuum Bruinsma left behind. Vrij didn't rush. While others fought openly for power, he withdrew, studied the new alliances forming, and picked his position carefully. His patience saved him while more impulsive men ended up dead or in prison. The once close group of Bruinsma associates began to crumble. Holleeder, Enstra, and others started turning on one another. Vrij stayed neutral, refusing to pick sides too soon, a decision that extended his life in a world of revenge. Vrij was rumored to be behind several major laundering operations in the late 1990s. Real estate, fake companies, and offshore accounts became his tools. Police could sense the money trail but rarely caught his fingerprints on it. Vrij wasn't known for wearing expensive suits or gold chains. He dressed like a regular businessman. That made him nearly invisible. Even detectives described him as the kind of man you'd walk past without noticing. The new millennium brought younger, more violent criminals. Vrij, now older and wiser, avoided the new generation's recklessness. He had learned that violence brings heat, and heat brings police. Despite his caution, Vrij was not forgotten. The Dutch police began investigating old connections between him, Holleeder, and money flows from the Bruinsma era. Still, there was never enough to keep him behind bars for long. Vrij started spending more time abroad, in Belgium, Spain, and sometimes Germany. He kept a low profile, used unregistered phones, and communicated through trusted intermediaries. He had mastered the art of disappearance. Yet no matter how far he went, Amsterdam always pulled him back. It was his city, full of memories, danger, and unfinished business. Whenever Vrij appeared again, people whispered, "Something big is about to happen." Vrij's connection with Cor van Hout, Holleeder's former partner and Heineken kidnapper, ran deep. Both men shared mutual respect, though Van Hout's murder in 2003 marked another painful loss in Vrij's shrinking circle. He saw dozens of friends and enemies fall, some killed in broad daylight, others ambushed in cars. Vrij's secret was caution. He didn't trust anyone fully, didn't talk carelessly, and didn't appear in the same place twice. People said that when Hennie Vrij walked into a room, the tone changed. He didn't need to threaten anyone. His calmness did it for him. He was respected not because he shouted, but because he always followed through. Vrij's belief was simple: never betray your word. He despised informants and considered loyalty the only currency that truly mattered. This old-school code made younger criminals admire him, even if they didn't understand him. Vrij kept his family life secret. He was known to protect his loved ones fiercely, never mixing them with his business. In a world of betrayals, that boundary was sacred to him. When Willem Holleeder was arrested and later convicted, Vrij's name surfaced again in conversations about the old guard. Though he was no longer in the spotlight, people remembered he had once stood beside those who built that empire. In later years, Vrij kept to himself. Occasionally, his name appeared in old police files or documentaries, but he no longer sought power. He had outlived most of his generation, a rare victory in that bloody world. Even those who never met him knew his reputation. Disciplined, loyal, dangerous when crossed. To the new criminals, Vrij's name symbolized the old code, when loyalty was worth more than gold. Though he faded from view, Dutch investigators still kept a file on him. He was considered part of the network that linked past crimes with newer organizations. But evidence remained thin. Rumors suggest Vrij quietly invested millions in hidden accounts and properties under other people's names. He lived modestly, but insiders knew he had enough wealth to never need another deal again. Even his enemies admitted respect. They said, Vrij didn't talk. He acted that reputation of a man who handled matters personally but discreetly, kept him untouchable for decades. By the 2000s, Vrij's world had changed. The underworld was younger, crueler, more digital. He no longer understood their recklessness. The codes were gone, and he no longer belonged to that chaos. Vrij reportedly once said to a journalist, "Back then, we did what we had to do. But we kept our word. Today, nobody keeps anything." It was a glimpse into the regret of a man who helped build a system that later destroyed itself. Even after disappearing from the public eye, Vrij's legend remained alive in crime books, police training stories, and podcasts about the Dutch underworld. His name became shorthand for the silent professional. There are rumors about where he ended his days. Some say Spain. Others say he returned quietly to the Netherlands. True to his character, his final years remain hidden. No one knows for sure. Hennie Vrij's life captures the paradox of the old Dutch underworld: loyalty and betrayal, silence and survival. He didn't seek fame, yet became a myth. His story teaches one truth. In the world of crime, those who talk die fast, but those who stay silent live long enough to become legends.